This video is brought to you by Paraz Entertainment. Megacon is right around the corner, February 6th, and we have a Dream Killahs 1 drop featuring an absolute Batman 1 homage. There's 5 different trims on this. They're going to be dropped live on Whatnot during the convention. Make sure to follow that Spider-Man booth on Whatnot and bookmark their upcoming shows. All I gotta say is Alex Ross Interiors. Anybody who knows me knows that I love the comic book painters, and Alex Ross is the biggest of them all. They just came out with a new printing for the Absolute Justice, which is the 12-issue series featuring painted interiors and covers from Alex Ross, pencils by Doug Braithwaite, and it's written by Jim Kruger. I read this and I really was compelled to do a video to talk about it, so we're going to take a look at not only the Absolute Edition, the construction, but we'll talk about the story as well. All right, so on the front of the slipcase, we have the villains. You got Brainiac, Cheetah, Scarecrow, Captain Cold. Who do we have? Sinestro, Manta, Poison Ivy, Bizarro, Clayface, and whoever else in the back there. Absolute Justice. Here goes the big spine. We got the creators. And then, of course, we have the world's greatest heroes on the back, the Justice League. Even got Hawkman, Martian Manhunter, Red Tornado, and, of course, the main guys. Then, on the actual hardcover, we have a dust jacket. Before we take a look at that, here's the bottom. Top is just all black. Retailing $125. OrganicPriceBooks.com has it for $79. So if you're looking to pick this up, check them out. You can save an additional $2 by using code GemMint at checkout. They have great packaging, fast shipping, and if you're overseas, check out comicsbugle.com. They have free shipping, no taxes or import fees if you're within the EU. You can also do pre-orders there as well to make sure that you don't miss out on any of these collected editions. You can still save $2 by using code GemMint at checkout over there. All right, so on the dust jacket, we have another beautifully painted mural by Alex Ross. I feel like I'm going to be saying that often throughout this review. The villains on one side facing off, very like Mortal Kombat style. Here's a look at the whole image unfolded here. Joker on the spine. It's kind of funny considering his role throughout this whole event. But yeah, I like how they printed this too. It's matte on the background, but then you have the glossy finish on the heroes. And man, Alex Ross, comic book painters, just really bring these characters to life. Here we have the inside of the dust jacket here. A quick background, and we'll talk, about the story as well. But you basically have the villains teaming up to overthrow the heroes, and then the story that's within that, kind of on the surface there. Then a biography on Jim Kruger, who wrote the story. Alex Ross did the painting, and Doug Braithwaite did the pencils. Now that's interesting because it threw me off at first, but then when you see at the end of the Absolute Edition just the pencils and just the paint, the finished version, you can see Alex Ross's distinct style within those images. So we'll take a look at that. At the end, here is the actual hardcover itself. It's got the foil Justice. Very cool effect on that. So it's very clean, very plain. Funny because that's not what the interiors are whatsoever. Again, with the same foil lettering and just all black back. You have the ribbon here. So 12-issue series. And here is one of the iconic images from this storyline that we've seen recreated for the Zack Snyder Justice League movies, and just an image that's just so timeless to me. And it's kind of funny. This story came out in the early 2000s. I didn't realize it was that recent, even though it's like 20 years ago now. But to me, I was like, man, I thought these images were around forever. But yeah, here's the Justice League on the front, and on the back, it's the Injustice League, if you will, or just all of the villains in the story, which Alex Ross, Jim Kruger, to their credit, they basically grabbed every iconic hero and villain from the DC universe to make this story. Beautiful page here. Superman and Batman prominent in the front, Wonder Woman as well, Black Canary with Flash, with Hawkman and Hawkgirl. And then I always wondered what this was all about. This is like Dark Knight's Metal before Dark Knight's Metal, but this is like an interesting concept that's for the third act of the story. But we get our credits here, big title track. Man, amazing, this whole burst of characters. Here's some more credits. Yeah, so the story was collected in Justice issues 1 through 12, 2005, 6, and 7. It seems kind of like so recent, right? I guess because Alex Ross has done so many great things over the years. But here is that image that we saw on the hardcover on the inside, but painted in color. Beautiful. So book 1, here goes cover A, and then here was cover B. So many Alex Ross paintings here. All right, so the interiors, Alex Ross interiors. We don't get that. We get Alex Ross covers, and not only do I think that the interiors are great, the covers are great, the designs, and that's something that you're going to see is very Alex Ross, because the pencils that are provided by Doug Braithwaite, yeah, they're great, and I can see how it helped save the time to craft this story, because the paneling, the poses, the perspective takes a lot of time. So Alex Ross really just had to go in there and paint. But again, we'll see towards the end that when he does his thing, that's really what you're seeing on that outside is the Alex Ross style on top of Doug's great pencils. I mean, look at these perspectives. So what we get in the beginning is a glimpse of an apocalyptic future where all of the heroes die. It shows every single member of the Justice League getting dismantled one by one. Here's that image from the front, but the whole Plastic Man busting through. Plastic Man was doing his thing in here. I don't read too many books with his character, but he always stands out in the panels that he's in. So then we're going here, some Aquaman stuff with Mera under the sea. They have a brand new child together, jumping in on the seahorse. This is just mind-blowing because the painted style just makes me feel like this could really happen. Like this is a real scenario in my mind now. We see this huge obstruction under the sea here. Whales, again, Arthur still on the seahorse, and we get ambushed by Black Manta. So what the story is going to do is go through all of our heroes and show how they're getting taken out by their arch nemesis all at the same time. Jumping into issue 2, we get the Virgin cover. Then we have the Riddler. And not to give out spoilers on this, but we learn how the villains take down each one of the heroes, who's behind it, what's the master plan. This is essentially, on the surface level, almost like an acts of vengeance, which what Marvel did, but what they did was take like Superman's villain and make him attack Batman and vice versa. But it's a whole villain team up, and it looks to be led by both Brainiac and Lex Luthor, but we learn that it's a little bit more complicated than that as we move forward. All right, so then we're moving on. Now we have some stuff with the Flash. We just passed through Batman. And not only do I think that the paintings look great, Alex Ross does a beautiful job with the colors, and sometimes he'll give an entire page one hue. Like this one is like mostly green, and then you'll see where it'll go to like an all red hue. I think that might be with Wonder Woman. And I even felt like this scene here with Two-Face was just so cinematic, how you're walking into Arkham Asylum and you see Harvey Dent, and then you almost hear the music like as it flashes to his disfigured face. All right, so then here we have Aquaman. Crazy. So this is the interaction between Brainiac and Aquaman, and we learn what Brainiac is doing in order to not only mind control all of these characters, but figures out how to emulate their powers through this lobotomy that he's given Aquaman. Here we're flashing to Martian Manhunter. So again, just showing how they're taking down each one of the heroes, showing Martian Manhunter being engulfed in flame, which is the Martian's weakness. The other Martians all getting destroyed back on Mars. And here's the thing about the Joker. So the Joker is flashed in a couple of these issues, and it's always like he's being left out. He's locked up in Arkham, and he's like, yo, I want to be part of this whole plan. And like, he's just kind of ignored throughout the whole story. Gorilla Grodd plays a big part as a telepath working with both Luthor and Brainiac. So that plays a big part in the story. Red Tornado holding it down on the Watchtower in space. Then we finally end up seeing how they take down Superman using Bizarro. So very cool scene here. Again, very cinematic. It feels like you're watching a movie as he rips Clark Kent from the building, and we get the Bizarro versus Superman stuff. So here's what I'm talking about with colors. Like when we get to the Wonder Woman scene, the entire tone shifts. Like, you know, now you're in a different scenario, different players, and we have the Cheetah, her battle with Wonder Woman having lasting impact throughout this whole series as she scratches her face, and that progressively gets worse and worse until the end of the story. Again, we're going to keep this kind of spoiler free. This is a quick read, man. These issues flew by. I had such a blast reading them, and I really wanted to take the time and enjoy the art as well. I mean, look at this. Every single page is like something out the Sistine Chapel or something, man. This is like incredible, showing the Flash running fast. Not to try to rhyme on you guys. Metallo and how the kryptonite is used. Here is that other image, the villains lineup or mugshots, if you will. Incredible. Solomon Grundy comes to play a small part. Black Adam as well. The Shazam stuff, so powerful, man. Like, Alex Ross does a great job of giving us the legacy version of the characters and puts them in scenarios with their biggest rivals. Bam, here goes the stuff with Shazam. Come here to save Clark Kent. Look, shifting back to Wonder Woman, shifting back to the red tone. You can see the little scars starting to take place from Cheetah. So yeah, what else more do I need to say about the story? I kind of wanted to keep it spoiler free on purpose, just in case anybody hasn't heard it. But at its core, this is a Brainiac-centered story, which grabs all of the major DC villains, all of the major heroes, shows how the heroes are dismantled, and how they overcome that and end up battling with Brainiac. So I guess the one thing I want to talk about is that armor from that picture that I mentioned. See, eventually we get Wally West. The armor is from the Justice League teaming up with the Metal Men. So you have Gold and Iron, and they basically are like metal symbiotes that are going over the DC heroes. Another Flash to Joker. This might be the second time that we see him throughout this whole series. So he's just comically kind of being left out. The Green Lantern stuff in space was beautiful, man. Maybe we should show that real quick. In order to take Green Lantern off the map, Sinestro sends him to like the deepest regions of space, and like there's not even any stars. He's just in this void of all blackness. Yeah, here we go. Try to do it without any glare, but man, just had a blast reading this. The art is great. The story is intriguing and iconic, and it's a huge company-wide event type of book. But this is a beautifully, man, painted and intricate story that's told here by Jim Kruger, which we get an afterword from here at the back. Then these were from the actual issues from the Bat Computer, which is part of the way the villains were able to take down all of the heroes at once. They knew what all their weaknesses were. So sometimes for like the lesser characters, it shows a sketch, just the pencils. And then sometimes it'll have a full done portrait, like with Martian Manhunter here. Man, look how realistic this is. Even down to the comic book stuff like pirate boots and capes, it still looks real and believable. Gorilla Grodd, here's Bizarro, here's Doug Braithwaite. So yeah, so here's a good example. His pencils here for the interiors, but then look at the finished version, the Alex Ross painting, right? Like Superman's pencils compared to the finish, like Alex puts a lot of himself into that painting. It really makes it his own, and uses Doug's pencils as the skeletons, kind of, for me, what feels like a time saver and an idea saver. Because like, okay, here's the concept. They're all rushing in. These are the characters. Now paint them, but he really makes them his own with those paints, right? And nothing to take away from Doug Braithwaite, but you can see like this panel from the actual story looks so much more Alex Rossi than just the pencils. But it was still definitely a collaborative effort. All right, so that's a little look and breakdown of the Absolute Justice 12-issue series, collected in the best format you can print comic books in. Some of the bonus materials at the end. Let me know what you thought about the Absolute. What do you think about the story itself, the artwork? Leave me a comment down below. I appreciate you watching, and stay minty fresh. Peace.